Welcome back to the podcast, everybody.
We've named it at this point.
We have named it. A huge deal. New names dropped. Inactive listening.
Yep. It's like active listening with a little spin.
A little bit of spin.
I'm Logan.
I'm Walter.
We are your hosts this evening. Or this morning, depending.
Or afternoon.
Could be anything,
Buenas
really.
noches.
All right, well, it's been a long time. And this is such a requested episode. Like, actually just thousands of people message. It's overwhelming. They're just, like, every time I open my mailbox every day, mail's just tumbling out. People asking for...
You know, like the chimney scene in Harry Potter?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh.
I was never a big Harry Potter fan.
There's a scene in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the movie and the book, where they are trying to invite Harry to the Wizarding Academy, and he's not checking his mail, so then they like flies out of the chimney and like flies around his room.
Well, the mail wasn't really flying, but
mine was.
Okay, yeah. So we both are getting emails, people sending me like people trying to bribe me to make more like money in the mail and stuff.
People are like they can't live without it. You know, They need to know what happens next.
High school graduation is in a few days.
Yep.
Walter just got back from college. So he's going to enlighten us in that. We have some other things planned for you guys this evening. So So sit back, get comfortable, because this is going to be a good episode.
Well, first of all, I kind of want to dip our toes in before we like jump in the deep end.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. First of all, we have just spent like over an hour, like maybe even close to 2 hours, trying to get recording.
That's true.
Because we have 2 microphones now.
Hold up. Let's like paint a picture, right?
Okay.
So, Logan and I are trying to do this podcast thing, and we have not a lot of experience.
Right.
So, first episode, no microphones other than what was on the phone, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
That was 6 months ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And then for the second episode, we were excited because we have a mic, although it's just one between us, and it was kind of clunky the way we had it set up.
Yeah.
So this episode, we were all excited because now we have 2 mics.
Yep. We're in a room now.
Yep. We have we've graduated from a truck to a room in a house, and the picture, the setup of what we have, is Logan and I are in beanbag chairs right now.
Yep. Looking at each other intently. Microphones in between us.
Yep, on a small little coffee table, and the remains of, I don't know, what do you call it, our failed attempts at a second microphone is also here.
Yeah. Probably an hour and 40 minutes. Trying to cram session, teach ourselves how to set up audio, and I downloaded like 4 different things to try to get this thing to work, and none of them are working. I don't know. We can't split the audio
yet.
Right. We will. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, one day we'll figure it out. But
we're kind of on a time crunch now.
Yeah.
We're planning on making like 2 or 3 episodes today, but our time has kind of been enveloped. So, but we're gonna get one out at least.
Yeah, we got to see how much we can talk about.
Right. So, and speaking of that, though, we have all summer now, pretty much. Like, we'll have a lot more time.
Yeah.
Episodes will be coming out more often,
which
is exciting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Walter, you just got back from college. Like, the other day, so...
It's a really weird feeling, because unlike high school, where, like, you're very aware of the impending summer.
Right.
The school, in class you watch movies, the rigor of the assignments goes down,
Right.
People start smiling more. But in college it's very different because, you're there to learn, so they use all the time they can for lecture or for studying and finals, so it didn't feel like the end of anything until I was home already.
Okay.
Like, because even after I took my last final, I had to pack really fast. I had to make sure the room was ready to be turned in, and wasn't going to incur any more fines, you know.
Right.
So I had a blast, but it was just a lot.
Yeah. So for a little while there, you were pretty stressed out. It seemed.
Yeah, I was.
I was talking to Walter, trying to get. I don't know what it was. I just decided to finally get the podcast together. So I was working on getting an audio file from Walter, and then
Which is a very simple task.
yeah,
And I think it took me like 3 days to just do that.
just because I don't know. He was in. I don't know exactly where you were in college, like what part, because finals was still a few weeks away. I think.
At the time of that email, or when you texted me, I think that was week 6. And I go to a college with 10 weeks
Okay.
trimesters.
Okay.
So
More than halfway through.
more than halfway through. Starting to pick up a little bit.
Okay, and then yeah, I just started. I don't know, because I have a lot more time than Walter.
Yeah.
Which I think that's going to change because I will be going off to Purdue University. From the last episode, I was like dogging on Purdue and this and that, but since then I've actually decided, and I am going to be going there. So I need to continue filling out housing stuff, which is coming up here shortly, and then internships. I've got an internship starting on June 10th. Today is the 26th of May. That's in a couple weeks, and then June 5th I believe is our graduation, and Walter is starting an internship in 2 days.
Yep.
So tell us about that, Walter. What does it entail? Because I don't know this yet either. I don't know what.
So already I technically can't say
Really?
exactly what it is. But I was lucky enough to get an internship with a company called Monosol, which is a branch of a company called Curare, which is what detergent manufacturers go to for Tide Pods or for the Gain equivalent, like the water-soluble film.
Okay.
That's what Curare does, and Monosol. So on Friday I had my meeting with the whole internship, or the whole the whole team, and discussed what the expectations are, where I'll be going, kind of a glimpse into what I'll be doing, and I'm very excited.
Okay.
I've got a full summer of a full-time job, and everyone there seems so invested in making sure like you learn, and you grow in your first professional experience.
That's good.
Yeah.
Can you say anything about what? So okay, Walter is going to college to become
A mechanical engineer.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I also plan to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a step ahead
Yeah.
now. So I'm assuming it entails something around that, right?
It does, but I really don't think I can.
That's interesting. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, like
Did they say like you?
I mean, like,
classified.
they said don't talk about it.
Really?
Um,
To the competitors out there.
yeah, all the Monosol competitors. I mean, I can say that like it's obviously on their website, like it's a water soluble film company that has many applications, and I can promise you that like I'm not going to be working on like something crazy like that, especially as a mechanical engineer. I'm not really going to touch the chemical side
Right.
of that compound, but there is this. I do know my project goal, but I just can't say it, which I think is pretty cool. It's really cool to me that I'm already at that point where, some things are hush hush.
Okay.
And again, it's not crazy. It's just like professional formalities and making sure that the company's their IP is safe. So
Right. It's exciting.
yeah, but you have an internship too.
I do.
As a high schooler.
Yes.
It's crazy that a freshman can get an internship in college, but a high schooler already have an internship is wild.
This is partially because it's the same place that my uncle works. He's a principal engineer there. It is Gertz. They design industrial generators for like hospitals and I think they even have some from. And I still have to. Well, I don't know. He really good friends with the boss and stuff, and they do internships. And then they had, but they did have a high school student, and his just ended like a few weeks ago. So then now I'm allowed to join. Coming up here in a few weeks, which is really cool. I'm gonna have like a desk there. I think they're already moving. My uncle said they're already moving desks around for me to sit near him. I'm gonna learn that whole process, so that's exciting. It's
for sure.
It's an hour away, and there's a time change. So whenever I drive there, like I'm gonna have to get up very early. Like it'd be leaving by like 5:00.
Wow.
And then it takes an hour to get there, which would be 6. But there's a time change, and they are an hour ahead, so it'll be 7. And then I'll start at either 7 or 8, and then I'll be done by like 3 or 4.
Is it full time?
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it's exciting. We should have a lot more time though, especially on weekends. I don't know what your hours will look like and stuff. I will be getting home, like if I leave at 3, I'll get home at 3, which is cool with the time change. It's like 3 or 4 will be whenever I'm getting home, which leaves the rest of the day, depending on how much we want to really pick this up.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be a lot more than like once every 3 months we're making an episode. So yeah, it'd be cool if it was like weekly. If it was daily.
Wow. What a boring... How boring would that be? Daily?
I think we find a lot to talk about.
You think so?
I think so. I think you have a naturally really good voice, I think. So some people, he's making a, I don't know, like a Sigma face.
I was gonna say suggestive, but
Sure.
I guess Sigma works too.
That's targeted towards the younger generation
Yeah.
that understands what that is.
Yeah. I have no clue what any current, I don't know, lingo is, or like the most up to date TikTok thing. I don't know. Even my saying that sounds like I'm old, but.
I mean, okay, so are you in college? I'm assuming you guys are probably just a whole step ahead. Is what I like to like.
A whole step
so,
ahead?
okay, here's what I think. In high school, we have like, I don't even know how we learn it, but we just accumulate the words. Like I just hear them, and then I learn what they mean. I guess, willingly or not.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, then my little brothers will say something, or they'll be like, "Hey, do you know what skibidi means?" I'll be like, "Oh, we actually, yeah, we've known about this for a few weeks now. You guys are behind." So I'm wondering, maybe in college, it just completely skips you guys.
Yeah, it does.
There's nobody that stays current. I don't have TikTok, so I don't get like the front hand.
I don't know. I mean, like, skibbity has permeated college.
It has.
But, it's different. It's not like the high school lunch table where everything is so fast and all the comments are so witty and quick,
Okay.
Like, lunch in college is very relaxed. People talk kind of like how I'm talking now. They don't really have the energy or the...
Okay.
Or they don't talk up here and they talk about, skibbity riz, woo! They don't do that. Or at least not my college. It's very possible other colleges do. Yeah, the lunch tables at are brutal sometimes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of students there are focused on academics, which is great, but they talk about it. They talk about school and professors and exams and GPA.
That's it.
And that's kind of it. Like every single lunch, every single day, they find a way to talk about it again. And what's scary is that it's valid, like they have concerns or it is truly a new, topic within the realm of academia, right?
Okay.
But it's still academia.
Right.
And no one really has banter or makes fun of other people the same way it is in high school, you know?
Right.
It's just very, very different.
Okay.
Also, we're all tired, so it's kind of hard to stay awake and keep at it.
Speaking of that, how was finals? What was that like?
Finals was good for me this quarter because I only had two. I had three. Ooh. Yeah, I had three fall quarter. I had four winter quarter,
Okay.
which is killer. I know people who have had five, and that is crazy. Yeah, but I only had two, which is very nice. And they're spaced out. Finals go from Monday to Thursday, and mine was on Tuesday, Thursday. So plenty of time to study, plenty of time to organize myself and get ready for these exams.
Okay.
The first one went pretty fine, but it was whatever. And the second one was pretty great, so I'm excited with it. I'm happy with how I did.
So is that finals for like two different classes then?
Yes, yeah.
And why does okay, so like all I know is like we go through all school year learning this stuff, and if we're taking AP exams, then just at the end we take the exams for that class.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
why is yours split into like fall and winter?
So
Do you change like in the fall if you have a final, then are you still in that class and you just don't take a final on anything, or does your class change?
my college works on the quarter system,
Right.
which means that there are 4 10-week quarters in the year, and the summer quarter is optional, you know, so I'm not doing the summer quarter. In the fall, you know, I took Calc 1 and Physics 1 for 10 weeks, was tested on it, and then that's it. And then in winter quarter, I have a new
Okay.
course schedule.
Okay.
So in high school, it's 9-week quarters, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, in a quarter of the time that I learned something in high school, I have to learn it all in college.
Okay.
And it's a lot faster. It is brutal at times how much information you have to make sure you're understanding, comprehending, you're studying well, make sure it's like you can understand something in class, and then if you never practice it or never apply it, then you're just screwed for the test. You have to like make sure you're actually working with material that you're given. Which, you know, in high school is not really the case. It's pretty easy to fudge a test to, you know, like you understand it, but like, did you really do it all the way?
Right.
Like, no. And college is a whole different beast. If I have any critique about my high school experience on the business side, you know, it would be that, you know, we never took finals. AP tests are good because they act as sort of a pseudo final, right?
Right.
But in like our regular curriculum, we never had to, Logan and I never had to take a final that was a comprehensive assessment of everything we learned in that class.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So like government, that's coming up. That's my pretty much my last class that I'm even trying for.
Right.
Like we're watching movies and other classes.
Right, yeah.
And we're just taking this final test of what we've learned, you know, Unit 13 and Unit 14.
Yep.
And then after that, like, there's no overall exam.
Exactly, yeah. It's just like, it's the Unit 14 test. We're tested on things in Unit 14. And I'm sure, you know, it builds, like, there's a reason why Unit 1 was before Unit 14.
Right.
But
so do you...
You are not tested on specifically things in Unit 1, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So would you just not have any of the tests? Like, you just learn everything?
There are tests, okay, which are very important to the grade. You know, the syllabuses are crazy because every professor has their own way of doing things, you know?
Yeah.
And you've got to make sure that you know, right? You've got to make sure you know what they're doing, why they're doing it, because every single in-class experience I've had, the professors have a reason for everything they do. And they don't tell you that because they want to make sure you're paying attention, you know, and you're not just like dozing off or not trying, right? Where was I going with that? Right. Yes, there are tests in college. I was told to think of them more as benchmarks, though,
Okay.
which makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's a healthier way of thinking about it because it's kind of alleviates the stress of what a test traditionally is.
Okay.
If you think of it as a benchmark, then if you do poorly, then you know, like, okay, I didn't meet the benchmark, and I've got to catch up to get to the next one, right? Because the final test is the final, right?
Yeah.
Everything culminates to the final, and I found out a lot of professors usually have a policy in the syllabus buried somewhere where it says, like, if you do good on the final, I'll curve stuff or I'll rearrange points. So, like, if you're great on first test, kind of okay on second test, horrible on the third test, right? If on the final you do really great on all three sections and you demonstrate, like, mastery of the material, then they might go back again on the third test grade and bump it up a little bit.
Okay.
Because you prove that you know it, right? So I really like that system of doing things. It's very traditional. I hope that more public education kind of trends toward that again. Like, I really do miss textbooks, or I did miss textbooks in high school, you know. A lot of things were frustrating to learn from a project all the time, right?
Right.
Or group work. And with a discipline such as math and engineering, a textbook just rocks. It's a really good way to practice and look at what you're doing. You have immediate feedback, you're doing it right.
Interesting.
I've talked a lot about my college experience
Right.
so far on the podcast. And frankly, this is the second episode, which was my break from winter quarter,
Right.
was just that was a rough time, you know?
Really?
Yeah. If you're going to class, I mean, people in high school get it too. Sometimes you just don't see the sun,
Yeah.
like, for days. And it messes with you, man, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I talked about this too on winter quarter, but whatever. Winter quarter was rough, right? And I kind of talked a little about my experiences during that time. So I don't want to necessarily rehash everything I've said. But a whole quarter has happened since then. So if you want, I can talk about that. I think if that's not going to bore you.
No.
Question. Did I talk about North Carolina?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong. It's been a while. But I did go through, I think I listened to both episodes all the way through.
Yeah.
I don't think you did.
Okay.
So, and if you did, it's just a little refresher for the people who have listened a while ago.
In the spring quarter, that's when a lot of the engineering students take their design classes. It's just how the school works. Winter quarter is where you take the brunt of, like, the math, you know?
Okay.
And fall is typically for more introductory. That's just, like, how the cycle kind of works. So in the spring quarter, on paper, you have a lot more free time because the design classes are more studios where you kind of get all your work done in the classes, and you definitely need to meet with your group outside of that. But as a rule of thumb, you have more time. My spring quarter, this past quarter I was just in, is supposed to be my easiest quarter ever. It's only going to get harder from there. So, you know, I was on top of my studies. I was doing good in school. And all of a sudden, the swim team gets excited. The group chat blows up. And they're like, hey, we have this guy who made it to D3 Nationals on the team. And it's in Greensboro, North Carolina. I go to school in Terre Haute, Indiana. That's about a 9-hour drive. We want to go support him and watch him race. Okay. I know this guy. He's an amazing swimmer, amazing student. He has a 4.0 GPA. Super kind. You know.
At this point, you're no longer on the team, though, right?
Yes, correct. I'm no longer on the team. Okay. But I was on the team long enough to have a connection with him.
Okay.
Have a connection with the teammates. So.
What grade is he?
He's a junior now.
Okay.
So he will be a senior. And he is an amazing swimmer. He's one of the best in the country for D3, which is still a very good achievement, and he wouldn't know. It'd be a surprise to him, right? He and coach would have flown out on a Thursday, because it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we would go watch him on Saturday, right? I heard this and I was like, no, there's no way I can go do that. School comes first, blah, blah, blah. And Friday night, I'm sitting in my room and I'm like, I have nothing to do, which is very rare. It's not a common occurrence. My friend knocks on the door, his name's Eric, and he goes, "You're going to North Carolina." And I was like, "I don't know, man, I'm busy, I've got stuff to do." And he said, "No, you don't. We're in the same classes. What are you going to do this weekend? Are you going to wake up tomorrow and be like, oh boy, I'm so happy I'm in Great Terre Haute? Or are you going to wake up tomorrow and realize that you could have been in paradise in North Carolina?" And, he's a good motivator. And I realized that he was totally right. It wasn't a stupid idea, it's a great way to go help my teammate who works so hard and deserves it, like the support of the team, And it's not like we truly were just gonna drive off at night, 9 hours, right? There were 4 of us. There was a whole plan. We drive in shifts. Everyone would sleep. Everyone would eat and make sure that we're okay. We had our charge phones. We had ways of contacting people. Maps, blah, 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 all this stuff. It was gonna be fine. And still, I was just, I just did not want to go. I don't know why. I was so hesitant. I was so for some reason, I just thought it would be a bad idea. I was clinging to the mindset of what I should do, what people expect of me, right?
Right.
As opposed to what I actually wanted to do, which, of course I want the cool story. I've never been to North Carolina. That sounds really fun. Now it's 6 p.m., right? And there's been a deadline. We're leaving at 11 o'clock tonight, and you're going. And I was just like, no, I'm not. But in the back of my head, I was like, maybe I should. So I go to sleep because I know I want to get some rest no matter what,
Right.
They wake up at 10 p.m. and they're like, you're going. The other 2 guys are there, Aiden and Nathan. So Eric, Aiden, Nathan. And at this point, all of my dorm, all of my hall knows about this, right? Eric's been trying to get me to do this for 4 hours now. Everyone wants me to go. Everyone realizes it's a great idea, We're so prepared. We have food. We have all this stuff. And I'm just like, I don't want to go. I should be studying. Eventually, all of the hall is in the hallway. And they're like, you're going. And with that amount of peer pressure, I'm like, fine, whatever. So we go outside, walk, get in the car. I'm kind of simmering. I'm pouting, my arms are crossed. And I'm bad at hiding it too. Everyone can tell I'm upset in the car. Go to the gas station. I'm upset. Leave the gas station. I'm upset. We're so prepared. Nothing is going to go wrong. I'm steaming, We start driving. Indiana has pretty horrible roads. So it's a bumpy ride and I hate it, right? I'm from Ohio. I love Ohio. And I love their roads. So we get on there, we cross state border, very smooth. And I'm like, okay, I like Ohio, but I'm still mad. For those of you who are not geographically inclined, in between Terre Haute, Indiana and Greensboro, North Carolina, you have to cross, all of Indiana because Terre Haute's right on the border. Most of Ohio, all of West Virginia, the tip of Virginia, and then you have to drive into North Carolina. So that's roughly 5 states. I've never even been that far east before, So there really was a lot of unknowns in the air. And now I'm in the middle of Ohio, and it's like, okay, we're not turning back, right? So maybe you should put a smile on your face and try to enjoy the moment, right? We left at 11 p.m., so it's very dark, and we're getting to the point where no one's been before, right?
Right.
I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to like just
What time is this right now?
uh probably like 1 a.m.
Okay. And you're tired?
I'm tired. Yeah,
Interesting.
we're all tired. It's not my shift, so Eric and I are in the back seat. Aiden and Nathan are driving. You know, there's two people awake at any given time to keep each other, eyes on the road. Uh, Ohio has a valley named after it, and we're gonna cross right through it. So we get to the Ohio Valley, and we're climbing down, right? Long winding roads. And I'm trying to go to sleep, and all of a sudden I bolt awake because Aiden is taking these turns with cruise control at 80 miles an hour at 1 a.m., pitch black, at a road no one's ever been before. And we're like swerving down the mountainside, down the valley, and it's Eric's car. And he's like, what is happening? Like, are we gonna die right here, right now? And I was like, how did I get myself in this situation? Thankfully we don't. Aiden is a character, but he's not a horrible driver. At least he's confident. You can give him that. So, we stop at this gas station in Jackson, Ohio. It is so gross, so not where you want to stop at 2 a.m. Now I'm having fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're fully invested in this.
I'm fully invested in this. I know now that I have a story I can tell, at least. At the very least, I tell a story of how Aiden was careening down the valley. So I'm like, okay. I let go. I'm just enjoy it, Nathan is a much safer driver, so I get a lot of sleep. We wake up. I wake up. And I'm in a place I've never been before. The Appalachian Mountains.
Mm.
I've never been that far east. Never really even thought about it before. But when we hit West Virginia, it is just like, it's something out of this world for a boy who grew up in the plains, you know?
Right.
And that is the moment where I was like, this is so much fun. Because it was just so fascinating in West Virginia.
Yeah.
It was 3 a.m. at this point, maybe like 3:30. Cloudy in the mountains because they capture the clouds, like they sit there, pitch black still, and you just get to see something new. What was really interesting was that the highways were pristine, and I bet that's because if they weren't, like, there'd be a lot of trouble with cars, right? Like the government needs to keep highways for the mountains good, so that way no one gets stuck in real nowhere in the hills. So this really nice highway, beautifully paved, good guardrails, illuminated really well, surrounded by like shacks and like shanty towns,
Okay.
houses up on blocks,
Right.
and RVs and cars that are like rusted away. And it was just, I don't know, the dichotomy of the really nice road and the beautiful mountainside and then the kind of poorer living conditions. I'd never seen anything like it before. It was like eye-opening, like how, it's just different for some people,
Right.
We keep driving. I'm tired, but I don't want to sleep anymore. I'm like watching these mountains soar by, right? Keep driving for a long time. And all of a sudden the sun starts to rise, right? We've taken stretch breaks, we've gotten gas. Nothing really like truly remarkable happens. And the sun starts rising. And if I thought I could see like the mountains before, like, oh my gosh, are they imposing? Because the sun heats up the grass and the dew, or the water, so the dew forms, and all of a sudden you can see that there is greenery and cattle and sheep and smoke rising from chimneys, and it is beautiful. It is so gorgeous. West Virginia is unlike any place I've ever been before in my life. We keep going. The border between West Virginia and Virginia is under a mountain, so we drove in a tunnel. Virginia also is just a crazy place. A lot more livestock. A different sort of industry there. Keep driving, and Eric was right. It is paradise. Terre Haute was gray and cold and ugh, sad and depressing, and Virginia is just like, it couldn't be further from what it was. It's still gray. It's still wintertime, or it's like it's the dawn of spring, right? But it's like there's life there. We're not in the Rust Belt anymore. We're in the wilderness in the mountains. Keep driving, get to North Carolina. There are these like purple trees everywhere, which are just beautiful. Find a parking spot, pay frankly too much money to watch one race. Cheer on our teammate. He had a great swim. Go at lunch. Greensboro is not really a tourist town, so I have practically no souvenirs, but it was still fun. Honestly, the comparison we had was that Greensboro is like Terre Haute. It's like the Terre Haute of North Carolina, because it's just kind of dingy, and there's industry there, but like there's nothing really fun to do there, especially when it's cold outside.
Was he excited to see you guys? Was he surprised?
Yes, very surprised and happy, which also made the trip,
Yeah.
because we all just standing there, 4 haggard guys who needed to shave, which wasn't an issue from the trip because it was only 9 hours, but we just need to shave anyway. Coach was happy, and it was a blast. I really enjoy the company of swimmers. They're hard workers and get my humor, or maybe I get their humor.
Huh. That sounds a lot of fun. Would you go back to West Virginia? Through the summertime, I bet it probably looks even greener.
Do you know what the Appalachian Trail is?
I'm not really into geography.
So, it's one of the longest hiking trails in the world.
Okay.
It starts in Georgia and goes to Maine. And it takes like 8 months or something to hike it all. And it's like on certain people's bucket lists where you walk the distance of the Appalachian Mountains. So I think if I ever did that, which I don't know if I would, then I'd be happy to go back to West Virginia, but...
I mean, you never know. Maybe you'll, move there, get a job opportunity, and...
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Would that interest you?
I don't know. I don't know where I want to live yet. It could be a lot of places. I love the Midwest, in Indiana and Ohio.
Was it cool through the mountains again?
So that's what this is about. Do you want me to tell you that story too?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So we watched my teammates race, right? He was so happy we were there, and we had a blast. But we're looking at the watch, and we're like, okay, we left right around midnight on Saturday, technically, right? It's still Saturday. We have to get back to campus, right? And we have to make sure we have time to sleep.
So this is like, what, 9 a.m., 10 a.m.?
The race was at 10 a.m.
Okay.
So...
This is more like noon?
After the race, we went to a sushi place, had a great time there, drove around Greensboro. We really tried to find something. There's 2 parks on all the websites about Greensboro that were, it's cold outside. There's a botanical garden. That's not open because it's cold outside. And there was this bookshop called Scuppernogs, which I was excited about. I like books. But it's like a weird hipster.
Okay.
I'm not going to say weird. It's not my style. It's a coffee bookstore place, and I just didn't care. And we're all tired, and we're like, okay, let's get a move on. So we just got done driving 9 hours, spent 3.5 in Greensboro. Let's head home. It's a different vibe in the car because now we know what to expect, right? We were kind of disappointed by the Greensboro experience, let's say. And what we really enjoyed was the mountains. So we're just going to enjoy these mountains, much like how you have to climb down and out of the Ohio Valley, we had to climb up and down the Appalachian Mountains. And so it's kind of weird how different they look from the other side, right?
Okay.
Leaving Virginia, going to North Carolina, you're on top of the mountain, and you can see the sprawling plains beneath. It's really beautiful. And now, the opposite way, North Carolina to Virginia, we're on the plains, and you can see the magnitude of the mountain range, which we had yet to see. Right, it was so impressive. You can see the exit ramps that are there for trucks in case they lose their brakes. Right, they pepper the mountainside, and it's just like it's I've never seen before. Right, that was so cool. That was a really cool experience. We started driving the mountains, and then it gets to my shift of driving. Right. We're listening to music, right? We're talking in the car. Conversation kind of dies, you know. Everyone's just on their phone or looking out the window. We're all awake. And all of a sudden, like this fog rolls in, right? And I'm driving this car I've never driven before through the countryside or the mountainside I've never driven before, right? And this dense fog shows up. And so everyone kind of slows down because it's a 60-mile-an-hour road. Everyone kind of goes 45. And I just realized, like, guys, this isn't fog. I'm pretty sure we're in a cloud right now. And once I said that, or once we all realized that, it was mystical.
Really?
Once like you're in a cloud.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been in a cloud before. I know that's what fog is, but like this wasn't fog. This was truly like a massive cloud was moving through the mountainside, and we just happened to catch it. And this probably happens all the time. Like locals probably know about this. They live through it all the time. You know, it probably gets dark and misty outside. But for us, it was like a totally new experience, and I will never forget that. I'll never forget driving through the cloud. It was something magical.
Interesting. I'm glad you had such a good time. That's really cool.
I mean, have you ever driven through a cloud?
I have not. I've never been to West Virginia. We've been to Tennessee, which is just kind of what I'm picturing it as. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded really fun. I'd like to go. That's a lot more of my... Like, you see, there's like, I don't know, people like to go to the city, and that's fun and all, but I don't know. I'd much rather, I think, go to, like, West Virginia or something like that. Is more up my alley. But I would like to, like, hang out there, not just drive through it, but... Huh.
So we leave the cloud. And now we're getting to my personal favorite part of the whole journey.
Okay.
I was happy to see my teammate. I was happy to be in the car with these guys. They're not, like, they were made for good conversation. I liked them a lot. We need to get gas one more time in West Virginia. So, you know, I'm sad. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time in these two states. And I don't want to go back to just, like, the boring flatlands of Indiana. So we stop at a gas station. And this gas station is unlike any other I've ever been at my entire life because it looks like it was hand built. It looks like kind of log cabin-esque. It's right off the highway and surrounded by huge, like, vertical, not necessarily cliffs, but just like very steep mountainsides.
Okay.
It's almost like a hole. There's a ring of mountains, a highway, and then a gas station at the bottom. It's really cool. Walk in. Reeks of cigarette smoke. Like everything in this place has been like coated and saturated in cigarette smoke. The clerk is smoking a cigarette, you know, kind of a gruff like mountain man, you know. I go to the bathroom, weird bathroom with like wooden doors on the stalls, exposed piping. I leave, get a chance to look around. Turns out that this gas station was built by a man who served in the armed forces with Elvis Presley.
Really?
And on the wall next to the coffee pot is not a shrine, it wasn't that weird, but just like a wall full of memorabilia and newspaper clippings about his time in the army, Elvis, how they interacted, you know. Very, very cool. And I'm like, okay, I have to remember this place by something. So I walk around the store, trying to get something that like I've never seen before. And I stumble across this little wrapped packaging of something called a Lorna Doone, which is not a food that's common in Indiana. And it says 79 cents. It costs 79 cents. And I was like, how odd, you know, like I've never seen a food item cost less than $1. I bring it to the register. The man there asks me for 79 cents. And I was surprised. I was like, what about tax? I didn't say that, But I just realized in West Virginia there's no sales tax on food.
Okay.
And I found that. So it truly was 79 cents. I cannot eat this because I'm gluten free. I wanted to get this for a keepsake.
Okay.
And none of my friends wanted to eat it either. So what I'm proposing now is that Logan here tries one of the 4 cookies inside of this Lorna Doone.
Are you gonna keep like the wrapper or something?
I don't know. We'll see. Oh, ASMR.
All right.
What does it look like?
Yeah, you can grab one. Careful. You might unless you just want to see this one.
No, I mean like describe what it looks like.
Well, I mean it's square, it's tan, and it says Lorna Doone.
Yeah.
Little engraving on it, so.
It is a shortbread cookie, so it has some thickness to it, kind of hard. It's like a cracker almost.
All right. Let's give it a taste test.
Oh, gross.
I just drop it on the floor. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah.
Like really good?
Yeah, I think so.
Would you want it in Indiana?
It tastes very similar to just like the ones that we like the Christmas time. You probably never had them. You know what I'm talking about though? Like they're in the Christmas tin.
Oh yes, yeah.
And they look like I don't know, like a wreath or something. Yeah, that's what it tastes like. It tastes good. Maybe it's just a specific branding for. It's made by Nabisco. So
does it taste like West Virginia?
Well, I don't know. I've never been there. Maybe you should try it. You should try it.
It's not worth it.
Why?
It's not worth.
What's gonna be the consequence?
Gluten free?
Yes.
It's not worth it. I don't know. It's hard to describe how not worth it is if you're not gluten free, but it's just like it's makes you feel so bad. It's just
how
not
much? How much later?
Immediately.
Really?
Yeah, because you're for me, my mouth gets all fuzzy because it's reacting to the wheat, and then I can feel it like in my stomach, and then it just starts like churning my insides like a witch's brew.
Okay. So this would, if you ate this would contribute like a negative factor towards West Virginia.
Yes, yeah. Okay. I gotta keep West Virginia pristine in my mind.
Okay.
The rest of the journey was kind of unremarkable. We left the mountains, said goodbye. They disappeared out the rearview mirror. Got to Ohio.
Back to the gray.
Back to the gray. Yeah, it was. It was fun.
Back to the sadness. Were you upset again?
Mm-hmm.
Were you upset similar to whenever you left?
No. Over the course of the journey, it was
enlightening.
It was enlightening. And it was a great lesson to learn about just like stop worrying so much,
Just get up and leave.
We had everything covered. Every concern someone might have, we had. We had money to spend on like anything we might need, gas money and gas route planned. We had the situation with sleeping planned too, where like.
So how long did they plan this out, or have you all planned this out? Was it like, did it form as an idea and then you guys talked about it?
Formed as an idea, and then over the course of Friday night, because I was asking them questions, and they're like, "Yeah, we have it covered, got it all covered."
Interesting. Well, I hope an opportunity like this comes up whenever I go. But that's crazy. That's interesting. It happened your freshman year as well. What are they all in your grade? Are they
Eric and I are in the same grade, and Aiden and Nathan are upperclassmen. They're sophomores. They were sophomores.
Okay. Interesting. Well, Thank you for bringing back a little treat.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been saving that?
That was week 4 of Spring Quarter.
So, 6
April.
weeks.
April.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that in.
Dude,
Right.
that was such a good stretch.
Yeah, I know you're man spreading.
Yep.
All right, well, I think we're gonna call it there. That's episode 3.
Thank you for sticking with it this long if you made it this far.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
That is so